safer world is possible, and together we can and will make it happen. Thank you.
When you show up in community, you find that group that makes you feel like home, but oftentimes you also find yourself again.
Welcome to Sussexful. I am your host, Emma. This channel stands proudly with Prince Harry and Meghan. We cut through the noise of the tabloids and highlight the truth that others try to bury. If you are new here, remember to like, comment, and subscribe to Sussexful for more unfiltered coverage. The UK media are now turning on Prince William. Tom Sykes confirms what many suspected: his jealousy and bitterness over Harry's meeting with King Charles. Daily Express columnists are blasting William's tantrums, calling him petty and possessive of their father. Experts are even warning William to put down his sword as his war with himself is exposed. William's image is cracking. After 7 years, he is still holding bitterness against Harry. That is not strength. That is poison. Instead of building his future, his focus is Harry. Jealousy and obsession will not bring peace. Harry has already moved on. He has built his life, his family, and his purpose. And this idea that Charles is weak for meeting his son is absurd. Harry is his child. A father meeting his son is not weakness, it is humanity. The fact that this is treated as a scandal shows how distorted the narrative has become. William needs to heal. He needs to stop competing with his brother and find his own path. Only then will he shine in his own purpose. Until then, the bitterness will keep consuming him. This is Sussexful, where we support Harry and Meghan with truth and clarity. Stay with us, join the discussion, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. The royal rift: William's crumbling public persona. Prince William's increasingly fragile public image is unraveling at an alarming rate, with media commentators and royal experts dissecting his toxic behavior toward Prince Harry with surgical precision. The once celebrated heir to the throne now appears consumed by a corrosive jealousy that threatens to dismantle the carefully constructed Windsor brand, revealing a deeply insecure man more preoccupied with sibling rivalry than royal duty. His persistent vendetta against Harry exposes a troubling emotional immaturity, with daily tabloid columns painting him as petty, possessive, and fundamentally unable to rise above personal grievances. The emerging narrative suggests William is trapped in a destructive psychological loop, unable to recognize that his relentless attacks reflect more on his own unresolved trauma than on his brother's perceived transgressions, effectively undermining his future potential as a compassionate, unifying royal leader. The royal rift: William's jealousy unravels. Daily Express columnists are pulling no punches in their scathing assessment of Prince William's increasingly toxic behavior, painting a portrait of a royal heir consumed by petty jealousy and possessive rage towards his estranged brother Harry. Royal experts are now publicly warning William to put down his sword as his internal war threatens to completely unravel his carefully curated public image, with commentators suggesting his tantrums reveal a deeper, more troubling psychological struggle. The narrative emerging is not just about sibling rivalry, but a profound personal breakdown where William appears more invested in maintaining a performative feud than healing familial wounds, effectively exposing his own vulnerability and insecurity in the most public manner possible. His apparent bitterness over Harry's reconciliation attempt with King Charles speaks volumes about William's own unresolved emotional landscape, suggesting that his reactions are less about principle and more about a deeply wounded sense of self that just cannot tolerate his brother's potential redemption or independent path. The poison of royal rivalry: William's crumbling facade. Prince William's public persona is honestly disintegrating under the suffocating weight of his own jealousy, a corrosive emotion that threatens to consume his entire royal identity. His bitterness towards Prince Harry has become a toxic venom, slowly poisoning his heart and eroding the very foundation of brotherly love that once defined their relationship. Experts and royal commentators are now openly questioning William's ability to move forward, observing how his obsessive focus on Harry's every move reveals a deep-seated insecurity that undermines his own potential for growth and leadership. The prince seems, well, trapped in a destructive cycle of comparison and resentment, unable to recognize that true strength lies not in competing with his brother, but in finding and embracing his own unique path within the royal landscape. The Royal Rift, William's unresolved obsession. Prince William's persistent fixation on his brother Harry reveals a deep-seated psychological struggle that experts are increasingly calling out as toxic and self-destructive. 7 years into their estrangement, William continues to be consumed by a competitive dynamic that threatens to overshadow his own potential for personal growth and royal leadership. Royal commentators are, quite bluntly, advising the Prince of Wales to abandon his seemingly compulsive need to measure himself against Harry, urging him instead to forge an independent path that allows his unique strengths to emerge. The ongoing narrative of sibling rivalry not only undermines William's public image, but also exposes a troubling pattern of emotional immaturity that risks diminishing the royal brand's carefully cultivated reputation of dignified restraint. The royal family drama, a mirror of societal absurdity. It's utterly bewildering that we've arrived at a cultural moment where a father attempting to reconcile with his son is somehow viewed as a scandalous or weak act. What twisted psychological labyrinth have we constructed where familial healing is perceived as a failure rather than an act of profound courage? The very notion that King Charles meeting Prince Harry could be considered a transgression against some unspoken royal code of conduct reveals a deeply troubling aspect of our collective psychology, a perverse celebration of sustained conflict over genuine human connection. Our societal obsession with drama and division has reached such a grotesque pinnacle that we'd rather see families fractured than witness the challenging, vulnerable work of genuine reconciliation. The fact that people could criticize a parent for wanting to rebuild a relationship with their child speaks volumes about our culture's toxic addiction to perpetual judgment and separation. In the tumultuous landscape of royal relationships, forgiveness really does emerge as the most potent antidote to long-standing familial wounds. Prince William must recognize that jealousy and bitterness are, well, corrosive emotions that threaten to destroy not just his relationship with Prince Harry, but also his own inner peace. The path forward, honestly, demands a courageous act of letting go, of understanding that true strength lies not in maintaining grudges, but in extending an olive branch of reconciliation. By releasing the toxic grip of resentment, William has the opportunity to transform his narrative from one of perpetual conflict to one of healing, potentially rebuilding the fractured bonds that once made the brothers inseparable. Forgiveness is not a sign of weakness, but the ultimate testament to emotional maturity and personal growth, offering both William and Harry a chance to rewrite their shared story with compassion and understanding. The royal family's fragile facade is really a tale of perception and reconciliation, y'all. The notion that King Charles might be perceived as weak for simply attempting to reconnect with his own son is perhaps the most ludicrous narrative the British media has conjured yet. What twisted logic suggests that a father extending an olive branch to his child is somehow a display of vulnerability? This myopic view fundamentally misunderstands the complex dynamics of familial reconciliation, particularly within a high-profile institution like the British monarchy. The very idea that Charles should be condemned for trying to heal a familial rift, rather than celebrated for his emotional maturity and parental love, exposes the toxic undercurrent of judgment that has long plagued the royal family's public image. The royal family dynamics are, honestly, a delicate balance of love and conflict. In the swirling vortex of royal drama and familial tension, one fundamental truth remains immutable. Harry is, and will always be, King Charles's son. Despite the public narratives of discord and the media's relentless dissection of royal relationships, the core bond of family transcends the petty squabbles and manufactured controversies. The biological connection between a father and his child is an unbreakable thread, woven into the very fabric of human experience, a reality that seems to escape the sensationalist commentary surrounding the Windsor family. Charles's willingness to meet with Harry is not a sign of weakness, but a profound testament to the enduring power of parental love, which stubbornly persists even in the face of profound misunderstandings and public scrutiny. The painful journey of healing, especially for Prince William, is just so important to acknowledge. At the heart of this familial fracture lies a profound human reality. William is hurting, deeply and visibly, in a way that demands our collective empathy and understanding. His apparent bitterness towards Prince Harry isn't just a tabloid narrative, but a raw emotional wound that requires compassionate intervention, not public ridicule or further antagonism. While his actions might seem petty and reactive, they fundamentally reveal a man wrestling with complex feelings of betrayal, competition, and unresolved familial pain. The urgency now is not to condemn William, but to recognize that he is a son, a brother, and a human being navigating an extraordinarily public and painful personal transformation. What he needs most is not judgment, but a supportive environment that allows him space to heal, to understand his own emotions, and potentially reconstruct the fractured relationship with his brother from a place of genuine emotional intelligence. The royal rift really points to a path to personal redemption, especially for Prince William. He must recognize that his continuous fixation on Harry represents a self-destructive pattern that undermines his own potential and royal purpose. By allowing jealousy to consume his energy, he risks diminishing his own remarkable capabilities and leadership potential. The path forward demands William shift his perspective from comparative resentment to personal growth, understanding that true nobility emerges not from sibling rivalry, but from individual authenticity and commitment to meaningful service. Embracing his unique strengths and focusing on his own trajectory will enable William to genuinely shine, transforming potential bitterness into a powerful narrative of personal transformation and royal relevance. His destiny is not defined by Harry's choices, but by his own capacity to lead, inspire, and create meaningful impact within the royal institution and beyond.